What is profitability? Is it in the room with us right now? Nintendo, I will literally give you $70 cash money right now for red, blue, yellow, gold, silver. Cash money. No. No.
My emotions. My emotions. 愚蠢的美国人和约
John Cena.
没错，先生，因为这个视频是给美国人看的，我们想说什么就说什么，字幕会换的。
This one doesn't work. And this one doesn't work. But no one is seeing your film on the big screen. But people are seeing movie theaters. They're driving past them every day to go to McDonald's. The Shamrock Shake is back. Yes! Yes! Pre-order now! This is how it feels to watch Disney Plus. Hello. Welcome to the Monday edition of the Wizard's Crash Out. I'm the real life fake wizard. And this is a time for crashing out now, isn't it? There's a lot going on in the world, a lot going on in the entertainment space, in the business world, in the political world, in the world. There's just a lot of nonsense going on. We're going to talk about a few things here today. Normally I stream on Sunday afternoons, and I had every intention of streaming yesterday, Sunday afternoon. Unfortunately, I got roped into some things that I could not escape. I still can't escape some of this stuff, but I am happy to be back with you today as a follow-up to discuss some of the things that are happening in the world. And this is not going to be all doom and gloom today. There is some real entertainment stuff we're going to get into. We're going to talk the Nintendo Direct. Okay, there's at least one chunk of that Nintendo Direct that I really want to get into. I also want to talk about a little bit theme park entertainment, which is an odd thing. It's like, oh, Wizard, you don't talk about theme parks. Well, I recently visited one some time ago, and some time ago. It feels like a lifetime ago. It was a few days ago. I was there, and I haven't been able to talk about that. But I did go to Epic Universe, and I'm going to bring my thoughts there. There's also a story to discuss at that point. So yeah, we do have some stuff to get through here today, but I do want to start off by saying hello to some of you guys here in the chat. The Eclectic Goat coming in early. I feel like game developers are regularly saying something stupid these days. You'd think we'd get numb to it eventually. No, we shouldn't get numb to it. Follow up to that point. We should never get numb to it. We should call out stupid nonsense that comes out of the mouths of game developers and people alike. I mean, we should always be vigilant of these stupid, moronic things that these people are saying. You should be paying attention to that because unfortunately there's a lot of hatred out right now, more than usual, I would say. There is a real problem out in our society, and there's a lot of hatred out there. And it's important to pay attention to that because you really can't trust all those people that are spewing hatred. You can't trust that. It's worth paying attention. Death Star says full crash out. Yeah, I don't know if this is going to be a full crash out. I don't know if I really have it in me today. Also, I got some comments back based on Saturday night's stream where people were like, "Hey, Wizard, you should really not swear as much." And I'm like, yeah, I kind of get that, but that's why there's a disclaimer in the beginning of the show. I do give you a warning at the opening that this is a little bit more, a little bit. This is a much more uncensored version of the fake wizard. I mean, that's why it's called Wizard's Crash Out. It's in the name. So, yep. We shall see. Tom F says, hail all. Kelly's here, says, happy Monday. Happy Monday to all of you. Lee F is here. Anthony F, another live video so soon. Yeah, well, actually, let me talk about that just for a minute before we get into these topics. I'm dealing with a lot right now. I'm not at Wizard HQ, and my ability to make videos extremely difficult as of this moment. I don't have the ability to because all right, let me also put it this way. For me to make a video, I have to dedicate at minimum 8 hours of real time. Like each video that I do is an 8 hour investment. And right now I just don't have the time. So I'm just doing these live streams instead. And maybe I'll do a couple more streams this week just to make up the difference because there's a lot going on and there's a lot that I want to say and talk about with you guys. I don't have, and it's killing the channel, but I just physically don't have the bandwidth to make videos at the moment. But yeah, so yeah, another live stream so soon. This is an interesting question. Hi, just wondering, where do you think Charlie Kirk is in the afterlife? That's a pretty loaded question. That's a strange thing to ask. I also can't say I remember your username there. That's a really interesting question. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that he's in heaven. He was a God fearing, believing Christian. That man is in heaven. But I don't think he's in heaven, but I don't think he's in hell either. I don't know why you'd think that. He was a Christian. He was a believing Christian, and I believe he went to heaven. Why would you want anything else? Is the real question. Why even bring that up? Because that's a pretty messed up direction to take this. We haven't even gotten to that yet. And you're already jumping in there. I don't even think, to be clear, Charlie Kirk's name's not even in the title of the stream. Why you would come in with that negativity already? I don't know. I don't know. But all right. Yes. Random Billy Bob says theme park talk. Yeah, we're gonna do a little theme park talk, which I hope brings some levity. I hope brings some levity to this to some of the things going on because there's a lot of bad news out there. Sucker Punch guy dissed Charlie Kirk like his murder was a joke. Yeah, that was a big deal. We talked about that on Saturday Night Hypnosis the other day. Ired Man says, "What's up, Wiz? What's up with you, my man? How we doing?" Hello, Real Life Fake Wizard in chat says, "Retro Money. Good to see you too. Good to see you too." All right, let's. Yeah, who starts a conversation like that? I just sat down. You know what I mean? It's okay. Okay. Well, I feel like a jerk. I'm gonna leave. Sorry. I don't. It's fine. It's just. It sounds like it's a strange thing to ask. Like we just started the stream, and that's like a wild question to ask, especially if you do like a little research on him. You figure out Charlie Kirk's a Christian dude, had a very deep, very very deep Christian faith. But all right, let's get into it. I'm thinking we start off with the big topic today. Let's get that one out of the way because it's part of the title. Uh, Video game developers are saying awful crap. All right, so that's not new. That's nothing we haven't seen before. But like, what else is going on here? So of course, and we've talked about it on Saturday night. For those of you who stuck around for that stream, that was a pretty big stream. It's pretty monumental for this channel. We lost a lot of subscribers after talking about Charlie Kirk, and here we are about to talk about him again because I refuse to censor myself or be silent about it. I think it's a really big deal and it's worth discussing and it's worth getting into. Oh my gosh. That is terrible. It's worth getting into and it's worth discussing. Wow. Beard is just falling apart. I am going to need to get a new beard, very seriously. It's funny, if you go back and watch the old videos that I have, I'm wearing the same beard and you can see just how raggedy this thing has become. Yeah, I think it's worth talking about, and I really think it's worth continuing to talk about because Charlie Kirk wasn't a politician. He wasn't an elected official. He wasn't a police officer. He was a guy with a microphone. He was a podcaster. Was he a business owner? Yes. Was he involved in politics? Yes, but he wasn't a politician. He was a guy that discussed ideas and was part of discussing ideas with the opposition. That was the whole thing. And they shot him in the neck in front of the world to see in 4K. Anybody who says that, yeah, actually, that's a really good analogy. Literally just Steven Crowder, basically. Or also, when I read this, I didn't even read Steven Crowder at first. Stephen Colbert. He's literally just Stephen Colbert. He's literally just any other late night talk show host that's a guy with a microphone that wants to share their ideas. I don't really see late night talk show hosts as comedians anymore. They're on there preaching their politics every single night, talking about their opinions, right? That's what late night shows have become. There's really not a lot of difference there. They're just sharing their ideas. Okay. I'm a man sharing an idea. I am here when I do my videos, when I do these live streams, I'm just a guy sharing ideas. So I find, whether you like him or not, or whether you like his politics or not, it doesn't matter. This is a pretty big deal, that somebody sharing ideas has now resulted in murder. So it's worth talking about, especially for someone like me who has received death threats before that were pretty serious. My business, aside from YouTube, has been attacked for things I've said on YouTube by detractors. This is some serious stuff. All right. And so we get back to this, but let's just take a look here. My boy Fallen Order here for a $4.99 says, Wizard, I messed up. I didn't buy a Nintendo Switch 2, but I did buy Borderlands 4 due to friends. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I've Borderlands 4. I mean, look, I don't like Randy Pitchford. I don't like the dumb stuff he says. I won't be buying the game until it's $12, but I would play it myself. All of the trailers that I see do not look as bad. Okay, let me rephrase that. All of the trailers that I see today of the finished game looks a lot more fun than the trailers we saw when they first announced the game. I didn't like the look of it when they first announced the game, but look, I think that's the thing. And that's really where we're at. It's like, yeah, the Nintendo Switch 2 is pretty predatory. We're going to talk more about that on Nintendo in a little bit, but like, you may not buy Nintendo, but maybe you're okay with Borderlands 4. You may not buy Borderlands 4, but you're okay with Nintendo. Unfortunately, it comes down to that line I talk about in all of my videos and streams. We all have this. There's a perception there. It's a perceived line of when is enough, right? So for you, the Nintendo Switch is part of that line, and that's fine there. Randy Pitchford's more or less just an asshole. Randy Pitchford is a real piece of poo. And I don't care to buy his games, but I know there's a lot of other people that do buy the games. And the fact that the game was $70, it was not $80, which is very different. Than being $80. If Borderlands 4 was $80, I would be talking very differently about it. So, okay. Thank you for that. But all right, let's get into this story here. Stories here. Talking about this Charlie Kirk thing. This happened today. This is a pretty big one. And what's wild is this stream was originally supposed to be yesterday, right? Well, now I'm kind of glad we held it off to today because we get to talk about this story here. Now, this is a pretty big deal. Get up there. Get up on stage. This is a pretty big story here. And this is pretty sad to see. So this came out today. This is a tweet that was posted today, okay? Bethesda, who's known for Skyrim and Fallout and Starfield, tweets and deletes video appearing to mock Charlie Kirk tragedy. Quote, "You don't care about these fascists, do you?" End quote. Yes. So this is I'm going to go widescreen here. This is a pretty interesting one. Here's why. They posted a video. I saw the video. We're gonna try to play it here in just a second. They posted a video of the Indiana Jones character in their Indiana Jones game reaching down and petting a kitty and saying, "You don't care about these fascists, do you?" And the quote, or the caption rather, for this video or for this tweet just says, "Good kitty." Why would they post that unless they were playing into a conversation around fascists? Like, this is a pretty tough one. I gotta say, it's actually artful how they've done it, because even by me saying that they were referencing Charlie Kirk or that Park Place calling to these references, and we're going to read this article in a second. If you were to present this to anybody that would be opposing Charlie Kirk, they would say, They didn't say Charlie Kirk was a fascist, and yet you're inferring that based on saying you don't care about these fascists, do you? You're referencing Charlie Kirk. You see how your opposition can really twist the argument on this. So, but it all has to do with the context of, well, what are the discussions that are happening now, and are we talking about these things now? And fascist is a trending term all over Twitter and Blue Sky. And so here we are. We find this Bethesda decides to get involved in the culture war. In the wake of the tragic assassination of Charlie last week, outrage has erupted over Bethesda, a major video game studio, being accused of mocking his death online. Let me just make sure. Is the screen weird? We could zoom in a little bit. This is better. I got to make sure my screen is right here. Hey, I am the most professional streamer and I make no mistakes. I never make mistakes. There we go. Now it's easier to read. This incite. No, I jumped ahead. The post in question has since been deleted, but as of writing this, Bethesda has not issued an apology or statement addressing the backlash. And it's very hard to do. It's very hard to address this one because of the way it was presented. It's very obvious that whatever social media manager that was trying to post this was referencing the controversy happening right now. It's referencing the controversy right now. It is obviously a call out to Charlie Kirk, as if whoever the social media managing poster is saying that Charlie Kirk's a fascist, and that anybody involved in this might be a fascist. It's inferable. That's the point. But this incident marks yet another case of corporate and entertainment figures wading into political territory in ways that risk alienating huge portions of their audience. This is such a sticky topic, you guys. This is such a sticky topic because it's like, well, if you don't like them calling him a fascist, then you must be one instead. Look, I think the best way to explain this is that they didn't need to post it. You know what I mean? If the term fascism is such a big deal right now, why would you post something referencing a very politicized and polarized culture? Like, why would you do that? You're a business, you're a brand, your job is to sell products. Your job is to make entertaining products. Like, you don't belong in this. You don't belong in that. Hey, love this here. Love this. In the wise words of Syndrome from The Incredibles, if everyone is a fascist, no one is. If everyone is special, no one is. And unfortunately, that's the problem with rhetoric like this. Assigning racism, homophobia, transphobia, fascism, istophobes, whatever the terms may be, xenophobic, whatever these terms that you assign people are. Unfortunately, while they are extremely important terms used to define very important things that should be defined, you've now drained all of the value out of that term because you're assigning things and terms to people that they are not. Opposing the left-leaning ideology and opposing Marxism, opposing socialism, does not inherently equal fascism. Like, that is very much true. Which also does not immediately make you transphobic. Just because you're unhappy that this situation appears to be transgender violence is what the story the FBI has presented us so far as far as the Charlie Kirk shooting. Just because you're upset that it has to do with trans violence does not inherently make you transphobic. People are more than just binary yeses and nos, good or evil. There is layers to this. And what's fascinating to me is how people do not understand that Charlie Kirk was a moderate. He was a moderate. He was, like Dave Smith said it best, he was a plumb line Republican. He was like one step to the right versus a Democrat who's one step to the left. He was not actually this far right guy. Just like there are many Democrats out there who are not this far left there really aren't that far left. There is still. In fact, it's what I say all the time when it comes to games, when it comes to entertainment. There are people over here, there are people over there, and those two fringe groups do not determine if something breaks even or makes a shitload of money. What it comes down to is the people in the middle. It comes down to the people that are in the middle, because there's way more of them that have complex beliefs and ideas than the people on the fringe. That's a really good point. Charlie Kirk was just 2008 Obama. Yeah, that's pretty much what he was. Also consider this. The people that are part of the Trump administration right now were formerly Democrats. That's something worth thinking about. They were formerly Democrats. And this is not meant to be a political show. However, this is a political issue. And I hate that this is the kind of conversation it is, because it sounds like I'm endorsing these people when I'm not. I'm very unhappy with both administrations, and I don't talk politics because I don't give a shit about politics. Politics is used to divide us. It's used to divide us. The media machine uses politics to divide us, okay? It's all a bunch of bull-oney. It's baloney. It is all baloney. But don't you think it's a little interesting that everybody in the government right now were formerly Democrats, or as you put it here, 2008 Obama Democrats? Isn't that interesting? People are not black and white, binary, yes or no, good or evil. There are things, and this is why we need to be open to having conversation. And I've sidetracked quite a bit. I want to get back into this story. So the situation that we're seeing here is that Bethesda posted this stupid ass video, and let's just play it. Let's go ahead and play it. Let me make sure. I'm gonna reshare this so I could make sure that the audio is coming through. All right, so we should be good here. So now, as long as there's audio, this is the video clip that they shared. Oh, unless this is the video that's been deleted. Can I pull this up somewhere else? All right, it looks like I could pull it up somewhere else. It's just, hey, TPP, your video player stopped working. Okay, can I share this screen instead? Share this tab instead. All right, so this has been reposted. I've got the audio up. Here we go.
Oh, nice place. You don't care much about these fascists, do you?
And that's it. That's the clip.
Oh, nice place. You don't care much about these fascists, do you?
Interesting. Your job is to sell video games. Why would you share a clip like that at a time when a man was shot in the neck for the world to see, and one side of the political spectrum branded him a fascist, even though, like, objectively he wasn't. Like, he really wasn't a fascist. Sorry, he's not a fascist. He may have said some stuff you don't agree with. He said some things I don't agree with, but that doesn't make him a fascist. And I don't even care if that's pissing people off. If me advocating that political violence is a bad thing pisses you off, unsubscribe. I would unsubscribe you if I could. For real, faux sure. Seriously. There's a lot of people. I've gotten a lot of pretty nasty comments over the last few days of people being like, "Wizard, I can't believe you. I thought you were this left idealist. You were this left-leaning idealist. You talk about all these companies. You're clearly not for capitalism." And it's like, well, wait a second. Firstly, I'm none of those things, but that does not inherently mean I am all these other things that are right-leaning. Because as I've said, politics is stupid. I understand business, and business is fun when you do honest business is so exciting, and it's a lot of fun. I love honest business, because there's a lot of people that do terrible business, and when you have and you run honest business, people never forget that. That's how you get lifelong clients and customers, is when you're an honest business person. I can't look at my phone. I can't do that. Don't. There's too much going on. I don't want to hear it. I can't deal with that. Got a lot going on right now. Sorry, guys. I can't deal with. I can't look at my phone. It's a distraction. You know, I got that ADHD thing. It's like when you're talking about something and you get a text message and it's ridiculous. Anyway, yeah, thank you. Bring me right back on. Stop labeling people. Stop labeling people. You know, that's the problem, right? So as I was saying, honest business. Shit. I was ramping to something. It's better. I have no idea what I was talking about. Guys, it's been a freaking week, man. There you go. Yeah, Wizard anti-murdering people disagree. Gross, I'm unsubbing. Unfortunately, there's been a lot of that. Unfortunately, I've gotten a lot of that. We are clocking in at almost 200 subscribers lost in just the last 3 days. Now, at 200 subscriber loss, most people would be losing their minds and saying like, oh my gosh, that's YouTube is after me. And there's this cancel culture-y thing. And sometimes that's true, but I know for me, it's like, there's actually people upset that I am against political violence, that I advocate against political violence. Oh, that's right. That's what I was trying to say. People are really upset with me talking about well, if you're not, if you're someone that's so angry about corporations, how could you not be a leftist or a socialist or a Marxist with your beliefs? And it's like, well, because the system that we are in allows for self-correction. The economic system that we are in allows for us to correct things when they go awry. And the problem here is that you've been convinced and you are being preached at by the media, by the education system, and by the other people in this world on social media and the other content creators that it is not a self-correcting system. Here is the deal. You've got buyers on one hand and you've got sellers on the other. In this case, the multimedia corporations are the sellers. And on the other side, you have the buyers, which is you and me. So when we talk about Nintendo and things like that, we are the buyers, right? Now, these companies want to make money. They want to make profit. And their goal is to give you the least for the most. They want as much money as they can by providing you just enough to get you to buy. And what's really funny about that is that if you don't buy these things, if you don't buy from the corporations, they have to give you more to get you to buy. See, remember what I just said it. They want to give you very, very little and get a lot out of you. But if you don't buy it, that means they have to give you more, give you more, give you more until you do. They have to lower costs or give more value or increase the availability or increase supply sometimes, or decrease supply. It depends on the situation, of course. But Bethesda here needs to sell video games, and Starfield didn't do very well. Now, I understand that Bethesda is owned by Microsoft, but this is uncalled for. But it's okay. It's okay, because the story continues here. Let's jump over to this post here. Okay, so this post we're seeing here is a thread of Blizzard. Let me make sure it's coming up and you can see it. What we're seeing here is a thread of Blizzard employees and contracted employees for Blizzard stories celebrating the assassination of Charlie Kirk. So here we go. We're looking at this for the first time here. So this is the thread of Blizzard employees. Charlie Kirk died in the world he helped create. To my mind, the women who dies of sepsis because of anti-abortion laws, or the person who dies because they can't afford insulin, these are just as much victims of political violence as the man shot through the throat while making a racist speech. Was he making a racist speech? Is discussing ideas inherently racist? Now, I mean, that's an interesting thought right there, right? Is talking about topics and presenting information that you do not like to hear, is that inherently racist? Is that inherently bigoted? Discussing ideas, is it inherently bad? Is that is talking a form of political violence? I mean, maybe we're treading new territory. You know, I don't know. I don't know. And yes, apparently there has been a discussion where you can file OSHA complaints to Microsoft for Bethesda's behavior. And Legal Mindset, who I've never had any interactions with. I've never had any interactions with Legal Mindset. Has put out at least one video discussing that you can contact OSHA to file a complaint if you find people online that are celebrating this. And I feel like we got to talk more about that. I'm going to go full screen here to just get into this. Okay, so there's this ongoing discussion around cancel culture. Media publications would have you believe that people are engaging in cancel culture and that it is probably unwarranted. Here's the situation, though. Here's the problem. If you are celebrating the assassination of really anybody, but especially of a political figure or a public speaker, if you are celebrating a crime in the form of assassination, and that's trending online and celebrating illegal, violent murder is a trending topic on the internet, what does that do? It emboldens others to engage in the same activity. I don't care if it's right politically or left politically. Political violence should always be political violence in the form of murder and assassination, calling for violence should always be result in consequences. It should always result in consequences. And in this case, if there are people all over the internet being caught celebrating this murder, and those people are being reported to their employers. And based on what we saw here with this OSHA complaint, apparently it's in some cases worth reporting and potentially illegal. There's a little gray area there. I'm no lawyer. I'm just a fake wizard. Well, why is that? Why would that be a problem for an employer to have an employee celebrating murderous crime via assassination? Well, I mean, it opens up a lot of liabilities. Is that person capable of violence themselves? Is that person dangerous? Would they celebrate if something happened to the company? Does it make the company look bad? Does it affect the company brand? We learned a little bit about that most recently with Visa and MasterCard and the entire Steam situation, okay? Well, it wasn't even just Steam. It was that they were tracking down Steam and itch.io and forcing them to take games off of that platform. And really, well, why was it? Why were they able to do that? Well, they claimed that they were in fear of their brand. So they used the brand and marketing as an example and then as an excuse to force companies to take down specific games. Okay, well, if you can force things to happen for brand reasons, then could you not fire people that engage in celebrating murder, as it would negatively affect your brand? Is the Bethesda situation we just went over not a perfect example of affecting the brand based on what people are saying, especially when it's a call for violence? I think the biggest problem is people are being emboldened by violence. They're being emboldened by it. Earlier today, the vice president said something that it's in the 20s of percentiles of people specifically on the left who think that political violence is okay. And it was something like 3% of the political right think that violence is okay, at least for one of the examples he gave. It was in the closing of his speech today. It's a pretty powerful speech, and I recommend everybody goes and listens to it. Violence isn't okay. It's not good. If we can't talk I say things that are wrong sometimes. I put incorrect information in my videos, not intentionally. I make mistakes. And then I come back and I rectify it later. Or things change. That's something else. We were supposed to go live yesterday. I would have covered a series of different stories. We wouldn't have even covered the Bethesda thing. That happened today. Things change all the time. But we should still be able to talk about it. We should still be able to have open dialogue about these things. And unfortunately, we've come to a position where it's not, you don't even have the ability to discuss anymore. It's just slinging mud constantly and always. But yeah, as we pull this up, let's get back to this here. As we pull this up, here we have a series of tweets from people that, oh yeah, here you go. Senior writer and narrative designer at Blizzard. And that was the person who was reposting all of this stuff. Okay. And we come here. This is Catherine M. Valenti. Just needed to go get a whole bunch of yelling off my chest about Kirk shooting yesterday. That all seems a little nasty. And that person is New York Times bestselling author. Okay. I'm not pulling any of this up because I want to cancel anybody or talk to these people or interact in any way. The point here is that all these people work for Bethesda. All these people work for Blizzard, and all these people then, because they work for Blizzard, they all actually work for Microsoft. And so after reporting, we get the situations here where Microsoft has to put out a statement. Microsoft says, we're aware of the views expressed by a small subset of our employees regarding recent events. We take matters like this very seriously, and we are currently reviewing each individual situation. Comments celebrating violence against anyone are unacceptable and do not align with our values. Aha, do not align with our values. That is political. That is business jargon that we've heard before. Do not align with our values. That is something that MasterCard, Visa, Visa and MasterCard were saying about the video games when they wanted to take all the video games down, right? That's a lot of fun, isn't it? Do not align with our values. So they're able to remove people that are celebrating violence. It's wild stuff. I guess I don't really have much else to talk about on this particular topic, and I think that's a good place to end this one. But here, I'll sum it up this way: what we are seeing right now is people celebrating violence. The FBI has reported to us that it happens to be leftist ideology and left-leaning ideology that has caused this violence, and they are currently investigating, or at least this is as far as what Director Patel said this morning, is that they are and Vice President Vance said in his speech just a few hours ago, is that they're investigating organizations that might be linked to this and that there could be more people involved than just the shooter. That frightens me. Oh, did you know there was also an explosive threat? Barely talk about that there was a bomb threat towards a Fox News van in Salt Lake City. We don't know enough about that yet. It scares the shit out of me that this is where we're at. It scares the crap out of me that this is where we're at as a people. That not only is there political violence, but you have sick bastards dancing on the graves, plural, of people. And I got a comment that kind of hit me to the core. It was like, hey, Wizard, you're talking about this Charlie Kirk thing, and you seem a little charged up by it. Why haven't you talking about XYZ school shooting? Why haven't you talked about the conflict in the Middle East? Why haven't you talked about the conflict here? This, that. People are getting shot all the time. I got to say, I really thought that when I said I don't like violence ever, that covered it. I really thought that by saying I don't like war and I refuse to pick a side in these war conflicts, that kind of covered it. Also, I have no power to make a difference in either of those other than trying to wake people up through you to understand that both sides in these conflicts are the bad guys. I may not like Star Wars: The Last Jedi, but something that I can agree with very much is that the subplot with DJ and Finn, when DJ made this, made the connection that the people funding both the rebellion and the empire happens to be global, universal corporations. Yeah, well, we live in that world too. It is corporations funding both the left and the right. It is money. It is always money. The media machine is controlled by the same corporations that are connected to all of the conflicts. And we're being played against each other. That's not even a conspiracy. Geez, they want you to think it's a conspiracy. That's what's wild about this. But you just start looking into BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, and Blackstone, baby, and you'll find out all of it is bullshit. All of it's bad news. The dude was a groiper. As far as we know, and according to the FBI, that's not true. Also, play this out. Play this out. Let's talk about that. Okay, so if you're to assert he's a groiper, well, what is a groiper? Let's just take the baseline at face value what the groipers are, right? The groipers are super far right. Dangerously far right, perhaps, maybe. Okay. So you're saying that the kid who murdered Charlie Kirk for spreading hate, that's why he didn't like him. He killed him for spreading hate. You think that's a groiper? Are you serious? Tell me you're not serious. Okay. Do groipers use the anti-fascist terms? Do they do that? Are the groipers doing like the whole Ciao Bella thing? Or is that Hassan's chat? I mean, you tell me. When he says that, Charlie Kirk was spreading hate. Okay, there's also a lot going on here. There's a lot going on. So, no. No, I don't think so. It looks like a dog. It barks like a dog. Might be a dog. Might be a dog. Fuck this, man. He's so far right that he's against hate, except the farthest right, the further right you go, you're going to find more hate. So how does that make any sense? How does that make any sense at all? Yikes. What a fucking mess this country is. This world is a mess. I'm literally here saying that both sides are the bad guys. Both sides are being played against each other. That's my point. Yeah, that's fun. All right. What else we got? Let's do some fun stuff instead. Oh, I'm sorry. I had to pull this up. I got to pull this one up. This is the last one, I swear. This is really great. I have to pull this up because I saw this on Twitter and I had to comment on this. Here, this is a really good one. This is great. This is great. Okay. So somebody had said something. Here, I hope this doesn't pull. It probably pulled it all the way up. I gotta cue this up before I show it. It's funny to see like how people talk about like, oh, how do I want to phrase this? You got to be so committed. You're committed to the ideology, right? You're so committed to an ideology, whether it's left or right, doesn't matter. But here's the problem with the woke left and the woke right, and that's not the term woke is not something I like to use very often. But you look at this is a great example of what we were just talking about. You look at the farthest right, and if you are correct, all of you out here who think that the shooter is so far right that he would kill one of his own, which is stupid. In this case, it's stupid. Or you look at the far left. you're far left, where if you're not furthest left, there's a problem. Here we got our boy, Dean Withers. Dean Withers posted a very almost heartfelt video. I think maybe he was streaming at the time. I don't know the full context. But Dean Withers got very emotional on video. He was crying about what happened with Charlie Kirk. Here is a guy that is super committed to the left and to left ideology, to left-leaning ideology, 100%. He is on the left, right? And I love this commentary here. Let's pull this up. Let's go ahead and read this. This is with the top caption here. At the end of the day, even the most activist and leftist white man is still a white man. Oh my God, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. Beautiful. It is, you're never going to be enough. Even the guy that is the furthest on the left, you can imagine, is still only going to be a white man. That's crazy. And I think that's a really good way to sum this up and to get back on track here is it doesn't, all of these political affiliations and you plant your flag with a political party. That political party is not your friend. The companies are not your friends. I recommend you read, there's a chapter in the book of the 48 Laws of Power discussing something like this, where it discusses the idea that you never plant your flag with anything, with any other thing, right? Or any other group or any other business or any other ideology. You never plant your flag with that thing. And this is a great example of that. Here is our boy, Dean Withers, who has made his entire life about being an advocate for political ideology. And even as one of the best spoken for that political ideology, his own people will eat him for lunch. And if what some of you are saying in the chat, maybe it's true, maybe you're right. Maybe it was a guy that is so far right that he was like, Charlie Kirk was not right enough and took him out, even though that's not, I don't think that's it. That doesn't even make a good movie. It doesn't make a good story, doesn't make a good movie. Makes no sense. But let's say you're right. If it is that, and if that is true, then that furthers my point. You don't plant your flags with these ideologies. You don't plant your flags with these parties that are bought and paid for by the same corporations I advocate against. That's the message here. And that's what sucks. Maybe it was someone who was anti-political because he was so black-pilled. That's. Are we having a problem saying that it could be a left-leaning individual that took the shot? How much evidence is it going to take to prove that? Because there's quite a bit of evidence out there now. And this is a rhetorical question that obviously we're incapable of coming to a consensus on there, clearly. But that's not the point of what I'm trying to get to. The point that I'm trying to get to here is that both sides are stupid. Both sides are bad news, and they're dangerous for us all. Go back to school. I hope you're not addressing me, Spencer, because I'm not really that guy. Do not swerve to the right or to the left. Turn your foot away from evil. I really like that. I really dig that. And I agree. And I agree a lot. I am absolutely. Sincerely, someone with literally a bachelor's in criminal justice. I don't give a fuck what degree you have. I don't give a fuck, dude. You enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it. Oh, man. I don't take that seriously even a teensy tiny bit. Oh, well, I have a bachelor's degree. I know this stuff. Except most of the people that I know personally in real life, the ones that have gone to these schools and they're super educated are some of the dumbest people that I know. Okay. So a lot of the people that I that I know and I have worked with that use their degree to flex on their degree, that's all they've actually got is their degree. They've never done anything with their lives and they don't deserve any extra kind of respect. And maybe this isn't a direct attack on you, but the whole phrasing here of you need to go back to school. What? So I can go learn from some professor that barely knows shit, that's barely done anything with their lives? Here, let me throw this out at you because this is really funny. There was a point in time for me where I was requested to go back to the high school that I went to become a high school teacher because I do have an education. So I could do that in New York City. And they asked me to go back to my high school to be a professor, to be a teacher. Do you know what I told them? No. Do you know why? Do you know why? Why would I do that? Oh my gosh, Wizard, what are you talking about? You could have been a high school professor with a nationwide award victory status, like, right? Like there's a competition there, and it was like nationwide they would win, and I was part of that. Which is like that's a pretty big deal. You'd have all these benefits, you'd have a great salary coming in. You know why I said no? Because I'm really young and I have a lot to do, I have a lot to prove. And I feel that the professors that work in these schools, the teachers who work in these schools, should have lived lives worth educating from. Because it would be a disservice to the students that I was teaching to teach them out of a textbook and just the textbook. So you could take that bachelor's degree and jam it up your rectum gently in a video game. Name whatever video game you'd like. I don't give a shit. I've lived 18 more lives than you, and I'm not even 30. Sincerely, the fake wizard. We'll move along now. We've got other stories. I have a criminal studies degree. Jesus, man. I've brokered billion-dollar deals. Worked with corporations that are in every grocery store. Worked with sports teams known around the world. Worked on political campaigns. And you're gonna flex on your degree? Dude, good luck. Anyway, let's talk about some fun stuff. We're gonna talk some theme park stuff here. This is a real change. Gonna change things up. Damn, Wizards on fire today. Yeah, I mean, I think we're probably like just burning through. Buddy, maybe don't reveal too much about your client. No. I see. That's the thing. I wouldn't reveal anything. I wouldn't reveal anything. Not like that. Not like that. It's all good. All right, we got some fun stuff. Let's get into it. Here we go. Universal confirms construction in Lost Continent at Islands of Adventure for potential new land. And this is from our buddy Marvin Montanaro, which, funny enough, Marvin and I got to hang out together a couple of weeks ago. Like, I don't know. How long ago was it? It wasn't that long ago. Maybe a week ago we were in Universal. I was there with my family. And we went to Epic Universe. And I've wanted to find the place to talk about this, right? Because I went to Epic, and there's a lot of people want to go to Epic Universe, and we spent a ton of money to go for a day. We went for one day, and then we were in Universal Islands of Adventure. Yeah. So it was me, and Tom F. was there, and the Bradleys. Follow the Bradleys fun. We was there, and we had a great time hanging out. and catching up all of my TPP brethren, some good people with that crew. And yeah, but I did get to go to Epic Universe, and I've wanted to kind of find the words to talk about it. So I'm just going to give you a couple, because I don't want to really make this whole stream about theme parks and stuff. Not everybody here loves the theme parks. If you're going to go and your plan is to go visit Epic Universe, okay, you're going to need to go in the morning. You're going to need to leave in the afternoon, go back to the hotel and rest up. And then you're going to need to get your butts back there at night. Okay. Epic Universe is designed for you to see it at night. You got to be there at night. All right. It's incredible. I've already shot, well, obviously, because I was there, I shot a bunch of footage of it. I'm hoping to do a proper video, more or less review as time moves along. But the experience there is really great. It's a theme park. If you like theme parks, you're going to like this. If you don't like theme parks, you're probably not going to like this. And so something else, a caveat that I'll throw out there is, if you're going to Epic Universe within the first maybe 5 years of it being open, if you live there, fine, go. If you don't, and you need to travel to go, and your days there are limited, I would highly recommend getting the express pass or fast pass if you're a Disney person, to skip lines. Okay. Because here's the situation. Epic Universe and Universal as a whole, their ride maintenance completely sucks. Universal, every single ride that we tried to go on broke down while we were there. All of them in all the parks. We went to all the parks in 2 days. And all the rides broke down. I actually have a really scary story with the ride, the Gringotts ride in Universal Studios, breaking while we were on that drop. It clicked, broke, and we were stuck in a free fall position. And I had to talk through people on breathing. I had to walk them through, breathe in the nose, out the mouth, breathe in the nose, out the mouth, because people were hyperventilating. Like it was scary. And it was like this. It was 5 minutes of stuck in free fall position. So even with me, I mean, you're leaning forward. It's like there's blood rushing to your head and to places where it's not normally supposed to be rushing to. It's a very awkward position to be in. But having to then coach people on breathing, like that's a pretty scary place to be. And the fact that we were like locked in, you can't do anything. So I'm like, I can't rescue people and we're trapped. So anyway, if you want to take your families to experience the nightmare hell that is Universal ride maintenance, you got to consider getting the fast passes. So keep that in mind. Yeah, but anyway, here's this story here. And I think this is fun. And I'm excited about this. And now I'm like, well, I don't know if I'll be going back anytime soon, but Universal Orlando is officially moving forward with long anticipated changes inside of Islands of Adventure. Did I not go I got to go full screen when I read this. With the resort confirming that construction work will soon begin in the long-dormant Lost Continent area. Now, it's really funny. The Lost Continent area back in like 2001, 2003 was pretty impressive, okay? It's got one of the best restaurants there, and it also had a pretty cool interactive walkthrough experience that had all the Greek gods and stuff in it, right? Okay, wait a second. I see this chat. I'm just hoping Wizard and the mods didn't ban him. Let him entertain us. I didn't ban anybody. I don't think my mods did, because that would be out of character if they did. So I think they did ban him. We did not. We did. I don't think we did. I didn't. I do not think we did. Maybe he's been banned. Let's see. Might have been banned. Okay, it's a 5-minute timeout. 5 minutes is fine. Not permaban. I didn't think. I was like, no, permaban? No way. I don't think so. I don't think they do that. Maybe 5 minutes is fine. You could chill a little bit. Okay. Anyway, yeah, so this Lost Continent location was actually pretty cool. It was actually pretty neat. And yeah, see, that's the thing. That's like yeah, if we could disagree, and I'll say, like, shove your degree up your rectum. I hope we're like cool with that. It's not a personal thing. It's never a personal thing. We could argue and bicker and stuff, but that's the fun part. We could argue and bicker, and then, like, yeah, I wouldn't have. No permabans. No permabans. We battle out, but it's fine. It's fine. Gives me a chance to flex on that story. I like that. I like telling that story about the whole, going back to work in the school. That's a fun story for me. It's like, yeah, I feel good about myself. I rejected that job. All right. Finishing this up, because this is a pretty tight one. Yeah. So this Universal thing, end of a lost era. There's nothing there. There is nothing in this part of the park. It is like an eyesore, and you're walking through what's supposed to be these other countries, but it's like, there's nothing else there except for these shops that it's like, hey, you're walking through and they're selling How to Train Your Dragon, but How to Train Your Dragon definitely doesn't belong there. So yeah, it's time for it to go. Once a showcase of original mythology-themed attractions, the Lost Continent and Universal has been shrinking for years as new intellectual properties took priority. The land lost its first major draw in 2010 when the Wizarding World of Harry Potter absorbed a significant portion of its footprint. The closure of the 8th Voyage of Sinbad stunt show in 2018 and the fan favorite walkthrough Poseidon's Fury, that's it. That's what I was talking about. Poseidon's Fury in 2023 left the area with little more than restaurants and facades to represent its themes. Universal confirms the next chapter. In the coming months, there will be construction activity in Lost Continent as part of site planning to ensure the area is ready for any future developments. But, like, I want to know, what are they doing next? And I don't think it's put here what they're doing next. Whether guests will one day walk into the Kingdom of Hyrule, the Land of Oz, or an expanded Jurassic Park area entirely remains to be seen. What's certain is that a new chapter is about to be written for Islands of Adventure. Yeah, that's pretty neat. That's pretty cool. There is rumors of they're putting in, because the Wicked movies have done really well, there's going to be this Oz land based on the Wicked films. But that's huge. And that means that Wicked 2 has got to make $1 billion for that to happen. They got to make a lot of money if they're going to go to Oz, and it's going to take a long time to develop and build all that stuff out. So that is wild, but that's like kind of our break in the story. Epic Universe recap, final notes, review. If you're traveling and it's going to cost you a lot of money, you got to also budget for the Express Pass. I don't see you getting on everything. You will not be able to ride everything without the Express Pass, especially since you're battling with rides being shut down. You're battling with Florida, Orlando weather, especially we went towards the end. This is the end of the summer era, which is hurricane season, which means poof, it's raining spontaneously. And that's what you're going for. So the rain is rough, but the experience was really, really fun. Even as somebody that doesn't like Nintendo right now. Oh, also that Donkey Kong ride, that Donkey Kong rail cart ride, that was not a comfortable experience. That is the Nutsack Crusher 3000. Okay, it is. How come every ride in Universal is designed to crush your balls? I'm sorry. It is every single seat is designed to crush your testicles. So if you're a guy, keep that in mind. If you're a girl, also keep that in mind. Apparently now that's something to do. There you go. All right. Next story. I don't know if I want to cover that one. We talked about all that already. I don't want to cover that one. Let's cover Pokemon. All right, let me cue it up. So a couple days ago, we had the Nintendo Direct. I've been very busy and I missed it. So, what does Nintendo have to say for themselves? Is there anything new coming? Is there anything fun happening? What's the deal with Nintendo right now? I mean, we got to be getting new games, right? We got new consoles. We just got the Switch 2. What are the new games that are coming? What's happening here? And, well, apparently, Pokemon Legends ZA, the $30 Mega Dimension DLC, pushes price of owning every new Mega Evolution to $100 on Nintendo Switch 2. Payday. Oh my God. Guys, I want to make videos so bad. I want to make new videos so bad. I don't have the bandwidth or the time, and it's a pain and it's killing me. I want to do it. This is one of those stories that's like right up my alley, and I really want to. I really want to make a video on it. All right. Nintendo's decision to announce costly DLC for Pokemon Legends ZA and lock 3 Mega Evolutions behind an active Nintendo Switch Online subscription has prompted fan complaints over the amount of money required to unlock every creature. Hold on, let me just scroll down here. All right, so I haven't read this yet. So we're kind of going through this together, but let's just summarize. Well, what the frick are they talking about, man? What in the heck is happening here? Well, Pokemon Legends ZA is releasing in a couple of weeks on the Nintendo Switch 1 and the Nintendo Switch 2. The game is available on the Switch 1, and it's also available on the Switch 2 for $70. Switch 1 is $60. Switch 1 is $70. The Switch 2 is $70. There is a $10 upgrade to get better graphics. That's it. That's the only difference. You're spending $10 more to get the game in the quality that it's originally should be playing in and should be played upon on the Switch 1. It's actually just baloney is what they've done. They've upgraded it for ridiculous reasons. Oh, hey, this is a completely separate story, and this is massive. Thank you from Godway Games. Gentle reminder that Nintendo also patented summoning characters as a game mechanic. This is a massive story way over there that is also worth covering, and it's a pretty big deal because, that's wild that friendship summoning games when you're summoning characters. Nintendo now owns the patent for that now, and there's a whole lot there. I'm hoping one of my friends over on LawTube is going to cover that soon. That's right up Hoglaw's alley to cover that one. That's very much his thing, man. Okay, wait, I gotta check this. From Bill Jones for 5. Wiz, I sent a carrier pigeon to your ex. I've had to edit this message 5 times to tell you this. Okay, yeah. Firstly, thank you for the 5. Secondly, I will check the DMs as soon as I can. All right. So Nintendo Switch 2, Pokemon Legends ZA is $70. What else? Okay, well now they are releasing a $30 DLC pack on day 1. $30 for DLC on day 1, which the DLC is available on day 1, which means it could be downloaded on day 1, which means upon the release of the game, they want you to spend another $30 after you just spent $70 to get more content, which they've proven they've carved out of the game to sell back to you for $30. This is not the first time Nintendo has done this. In fact, people are criticizing Nintendo for doing this with Donkey Kong Bonanza. Donkey Kong Bonanza released a $20 DLC a couple of days ago, and from what I'm hearing, it is pretty empty, and it performs like the end game that should have been in the final game that they carved out to sell back to you as DLC. And so here, Pokemon is doing the same thing, but for $30, which means that to get the full Legend ZA experience, you need to spend $30 to get it. But wait, there's more, because there's more. And I don't think this article is going to cover it. So maybe it's not worth getting into. Here it is. 3 other Mega Evolutions were also confirmed for Kalos starter Pokemon, with small print revealing these will only be available post-launch as rewards for competing in online ranked battles, which requires a Nintendo Switch Online subscription. So this is it right here. So first, okay, so all right, Wizard, we're going. This is a little crazy here. Let's sum it up. Let's make it simple. The base game on the Nintendo Switch 2 is $70. It gets you a little bit of better graphics, slightly better graphics. Then they want $30 for DLC that they cut out of the final part of the game. And then on top of that, for you to get all of the Mega Stones, which are related to the original game that came out on the 3DS, right? For those starters that now have Mega Evolutions, right? You need to be competing to get them in the competitive space. And that means you need to be paying the subscription, which means you could be paying $12 for it. Because you need the NSO, which is a monthly subscription. So we're looking at closer to $112 at launch for the full game. And I've gotten death threats for saying stuff like this. Yeah. Isn't that fun? Isn't that fun? I think that's so cool. I get death threats for things like this. I get death threats for pointing out Nintendo is ripping us off. These games are not that good to warrant them being even $70. This is nuts. This is bananas. All right, to be clear, you get death threats over that? Yeah, I've gotten death threats over saying that Switch 2 is expensive, and my 20 points of why not to buy a Switch 2, yes, I've gotten death threats over that. That were pretty serious. Gotten pretty serious death threats over that. We live in a society. Yeah, so that's the deal that's going on over there. That's insane. 100 and that's what's crazy is, like, in my spare time, I find myself like trying to play older, like I play the old Pokemon games really just to pass the time. So like Pokemon Emerald, I found myself playing again, and I was like, it was fun. Like Pokemon Emerald and like the Game Boy Advance era of games actually had a lot of challenge to them, where if you weren't training your guys up, you got your butt kicked in those games. I miss them being that fun. I miss them being that challenging. They haven't been like that in a long time. And that brings us to today, where like a game that was fun and was like $30 or $40 upon release is now $100 for a shitty Switch game that's going to look terrible and run terrible. Oh man, that's awful. That's really awful. Here's a good point. Can't wait to see what they did for Mario's 40th anniversary. Yeah, they're selling Wii games that were originally Nintendo Selects for $40 a piece. And that's not good either. So that is going to tie up. We've got through a couple of stories here, and I wanted to do a follow-up stream from yesterday. And this has been there's a lot going on in the world, you guys, and things are crazy and they seem brutal. But we're going to keep going, and we're going to keep being vigilant. And I might stream again later this week, or maybe by the grace of God, I'll get a video out. But that's going to tie up things here today. It was really good hanging out with you. We had a good discussion. I like that things got a little heated. And for those of you who are already making negative comments in the future because you didn't watch this much, you should watch it to the end, because we're able to we should be able to argue, but we should be able to argue. That's it. We should be able to argue and talk. And that's it. And don't buy piss poor products. That's a good one. Good way to end it. My friends, until next time, I'd like you to create, innovate, inspire others to do so as well. And for the love of God, cancel Disney Plus. I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye. We're going to raid Film Threat. Let's go raid Film Threat on YouTube. Everybody else, sayonara.